All right, welcome back to the Wholesome Lending Group podcast. My name is Austin,
Susie.
and today we are talking about DSCR cash out refi, right? And so, if you're watching this video, you've probably looked into cash out refinancing. You've been told different things by different lenders. You're trying to find all of the options to get the equity out of the properties that you currently have, or you've been a property holder, whether it be long term or short term, and you're trying to figure out what my options are, right? So this video is for real estate investors. It's for property owners or people who are actively evaluating their cash on hand strategy, and pulling out the equity in your property can be a good strategy. So in this video, we're going to walk through why DSCR cash out refi even exists, who they're actually for, and how we've evaluated this strategy with some real clients. So kicking it off, DSCR stands for Debt Service Coverage Ratio, and essentially, what are like two things that lenders are looking for?
Basically, the rental income,
Okay.
whatever you can charge for rent on the property,
Yep.
and monthly mortgage payment.
Yes.
So whatever monthly mortgage payment that you're going to have, is that monthly mortgage payment less than what you're going to be getting for rental income, then you have a deal.
Yes. If
So-
the property supports the debt, lenders are probably for it. Now, this is really cool because DSCR doesn't look at your personal finances. It doesn't look at, well, it does, your credit score. There are some things it does look at, but it doesn't look at, can you afford this property based off W-2s and things like that.
Statements or taxes, they don't look at any of that. All they care about is this property cash flowing with a renter. And if so, how much are we charging this renter?
Yeah. So this strategy or this loan product is investor focused, but it's underwritten by the asset itself.
Yep.
Not necessarily, you aren't the number one contingency factor when it comes to whether the lender wants to give you funding or not. And so that part's extremely cool. So why investors eventually end up here, why they eventually end up with DSCR. And just in case you're unaware, just for understanding, like my wife and I, we help real estate investors secure the funding they need fast to get the deals that they find. This is what we do consistently. We work, I'm an expert in business funding, in alternative lines of funding. My wife as well, but she's also a licensed mortgage loan originator. So we work in this space consistently. We work with people all the time. And so that's just a little bit background and context on us. So people normally end up to DSCR because technically they've just run out of options, or they're trying to find an option that's a little bit more lucrative, or that is quicker per se, right? Because the other options might be you're trying to qualify with your own personal finances, right? You might be trying to go a traditional route, but investment property, you might have a non-QM situation where investment property it kind of falls outside of those realms. And so from your experience, like, why do you think people end up looking into this strategy? Or maybe you could spin it. What's the reason people haven't looked into this as a viable quick strategy to get some financing?
Yeah, I think there's a lot of misconception and just lack of knowledge, honestly. A lot of people think that you need to have, taxes in order. You need to have a good job, good income to qualify, where indeed that's not the case. The lender could care less if you're making $50K a year. All they care about, honestly, is that A, you have an LLC, and then 2 is the property cash flowing. That's all they care for. Yeah. And obviously we need to show that you have a renter in there, and that you have a contract with that renter, a lease agreement, as you call it. Sometimes you can even do a DSCR cash out refi if you don't have a renter. Recently, we just did one, and we can kind of go in more depth as we go on in the video. But he didn't have a renter in there just yet because they had just moved out. We still started the process. Luckily, he had a renter towards the end, so that made it a lot easier. But they'll allow you to do it just like that. So, yeah, I think just misconception and misinformation, just not knowing what's out there and knowing that, you can qualify with just rental income.
Yeah. And so, like I was saying previously, traditional mortgages are not great for investors, and banks know that, and so that's why this product was created. This one is, and so some common investor realities, I kind of have them listed here, are depreciation, lower taxable income, write-offs. They make your returns look weak, and your cash flow is strong, but it's invisible to banks. And so this loan product is what has come to answer that and to provide the solution in that department. So, oh, you dropped your little toy, baby. There you go, my man. This is our son Hezekiah, the youngest of the three. So DSCR cash out refis. What does it allow you to do, or who is it not for? Who do you think it's for? Pick either one of those and start in that direction.
People looking to just spend cash. People looking to
That's who it's not for.
Yeah, that's who it's not for. People who don't have a clear understanding of where they're going to allocate the money once they get the cash out refi. People who are just emotional and just trying to ride the wave of how easy this is, and then potentially getting the money and losing it, because again, you still have to pay back this money via, a monthly payment. So, people recklessly, taking the cash out to invest in crypto, which I'm not saying is wrong, but if you don't know what you're doing, then yeah, this could get you in a hole. So have a plan, have a strategy. This isn't for anybody who's doesn't have that.
Yeah. So this, like I mentioned, this is the strategy where if you have a plan, you know what you're doing, and you're trying to grow your portfolio, take the equity out, go put it down on some more properties. This is fantastic, and it's like I mentioned, it's for the investor, and it's asset driven, which is awesome. And so, but to give you an example, some real numbers or just real situations, we'll share the numbers as we can. But so now let's get into some real examples of some clients. We'll call him Mr. Smith for now, but let's talk about our latest client, what kind of his deal was about. That's what people want to know. Like, how do these numbers work, and how we kind of helped him facilitate that process and held his hand through the process.
Yeah. So, he has about 5 properties. Mr. Smith lives in Virginia. He bought the property about 5 years ago. He bought it for $30K cash. He put about $50 to renovate it, and he rents it out for about $1,600 a month.
Nice. Virginia.
Nice. So he recently, it's a really good part of Virginia, like Roanoke.
Yeah, Roanoke.
Roanoke.
Close enough. Ragnarok.
He came because he was like, hey, I need some cash. I have some credit card debt that I want to just knock down. And then after that, I want to buy a new property, but I don't have cash. And I was like, well, do your properties have any equity? And he's like, I think so.
No.
So we looked into the property, and it looks like, it's appraising, or the value of it was like at 170. And so we went in for the cash out. I said, you know what? I think you can tap into the equity in your home. You have a renter in there. You're getting solid money from that renter. Let's see if we could do a cash out refi using DSCR and see what we can get. So we shot for 75% LTV to get the money out. And because at the time he didn't have a renter, they had just moved out. The lender said, okay, well, we're not going to be able to do a 75% LTV. We could do 70, which is still pretty solid.
Yeah.
Considering there was no renter in there at the time. And so the appraisal came back. It came back at like 180, which was even more than we had suspected.
Yeah, it's awesome.
So 180, 70% LTV. So that went really well. And we closed on it in like 10 days. He was super good about sending all the docs, LLC, articles, EIN, lease agreement. Oh, the cool part, he was able to get a tenant in there like halfway through the deal.
Yeah, that's awesome.
So, he got the lease agreement with the tenant. He got the deposit. So we had to show proof of, all those things. And we closed on it. He got his money. He got it wired. He was like, I can't believe this happened so fast. He was able to pay down his credit card debt. So now his credit is in a really, really good position. And he's on to buy a new property, like
nice.
The down payment for the new property. So the possibilities they're there. Sometimes people don't think that they have any cash, but yeah, they do. It's just tied up in equity. You just got to learn and know that you can tap into it at any time.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's awesome.
Yeah.
What do you think, man? You've been talking this whole episode. Yeah, now you got nothing to say. No, that's fantastic, and I think the cool part was like he had no idea how it even worked that was possible for him, and
Yeah.
to go from not knowing anything to closing in 10 days
That
is
was crazy.
yeah, it's fantastic.
Yeah, and he was skeptical at first because he was like, "You mean I can just get money out of my house?" And I was like, "Yeah," because he's used to buying properties cash, right? Like he buys them at 30, 20, like super undervalued. So he's not used to getting a traditional mortgage or going through like a company for any type of lending. And so this process was a little new to him, even though he has 5 properties. And so I held his hand through the process and I was like, hey, this is super normal. Like underwriting is going to ask for documents. It's okay. They're just doing their due diligence.
Yeah.
So he was pretty self assured at the end when it all came to a close.
That's awesome. Yeah, it's and so in this mindset, I think the other thing that hangs a lot of people up when it comes to cash outs and cash out refis is they're nervous about, am I getting a good deal? Is this am I getting a good interest rate? Are these good terms, right? And those things do vary. I will say, depending on the lender you go to, the LTV varies, the rates they're going to give you vary, and so if you reach out to us, we can give you a term sheet and give you updated rates and hopefully the most competitive rates that we can find.
Same day term sheet too. So
Same day term
no
sheet.
waiting around.
All you gotta do is email us cash out refi to info@wholesomelendinggroup.com.
Yeah.
And that's the best way to do it. But so essentially, if you're trying to figure out is DSCR cash out refi for me, it can be if you already own the property, right? You already have the investment property. You've already built equity. You're considering a cash out refi, and if you want clarity, a clear structure, and you're looking for this cash for your next investment, then you're ready to evaluate numbers, move forward, and see if it makes sense, right? That's what you're trying to do. So,
Yeah.
and at the end of the day, and my encouragement is like at some point, more information stops helping, right?
Yeah.
If you're watching this video and you're ready to pull the trigger and you're like, hey, I'm not really sure what I'm doing or what that looks like, right? The decision starts mattering. If you're still on the fence, the question isn't, is it possible? The question really is, like, does this fit my situation? Right, Hezzy?
I want to go into space.
Gymnastics, man. So if you're ready to stop guessing and you want some clarity, have your numbers reviewed. See whether DSCR cash out refi makes sense for you. And honestly, stop being stuck and playing it safe. Like, start taking a look at like what your properties can do for you and how this can grow your portfolio and build a strategy around it. That'd be my encouragement. You know?
Absolutely.
So it's only until you realize it's costing you time and opportunity and momentum. What was all the breakdancing you doing over here, my guy? This guy is 10 months old now?
10 months, buddy. Yeah. Hi.
Crazy.
You just be cackling now.
I know. So anyway, my wife and I, we run our lending group company just by ourselves, and our assistant, Rachel, she's on the team. You might talk to her. But if you're interested in making the next step and getting your numbers evaluated to pull the trigger, don't wait. Hit us up. We love to help. Outside of that, is there anything else you want to mention or talk about or travel memory you want to go over? What we also do sometimes at the end of the podcast is just talk. We just to be honest. Like that's the refi part. The rest of it is you just getting to know us and us just being transparent about who we are.
The most a core memory I have is Egypt, and the first time I got a glimpse of the pyramids. I think our tour guide picked us up from the hotel at 6-7 a.m.
I think you shared that before. We need to do a deep dive one day about like a deep recap of these trips. But I don't know if you've been aware of this. Like since we started traveling, just maybe 2-3 years ago, you've already tackled about Machu Picchu, Great Pyramids of Giza, the Roman Colosseum. I wouldn't say the Leaning Tower of Pisa is on there, but you've conquered
That's
3 of the 7 wonders of the world already.
Honestly, and the pyramids.
I think I said pyramids.
Okay.
Machu Picchu, pyramids, and Roman Colosseum.
Yeah, that was pretty. I'm not gonna lie. That's bucket lister after bucket lister.
Most people only take maybe one in their
in
lifetime.
their lifetime.
And
Well,
you knocked off
Ben, I mean,
3.
you too, with the exception of the Roman
Yeah, I wasn't
Empire.
there for Rome, but
been blessed and highly favored from the Most High to just be able to travel and work from home and have our own business. And so don't take that for granted, not one bit. And I'm super thankful, and hopefully we can continue to do more in 2026. We still have Asia to tackle. We've yet to scratch the surface on just Asia in general.
If you guys have any travel recommendations for Asia, any countries you've been to or cities, let us know. We'd love to see, and we're going to talk about it in our podcast. It's probably outside of our family, our faith. Travel is probably our favorite thing to talk about on this podcast. We don't actually talk about our faith message believers, but you'll see it in how we live our life and our lifestyle. But we are going to talk a lot about travel, and you will see a lot of our kids because they're here with us. So anyway, we appreciate you guys tuning into this episode. We look forward to seeing you in the next one. Catch you later.
Peace.
What's going on, guys?
Yeah, first she was taking off my cartoon and she was touching my.
What you touching?
That's what should happen. And she was not watching, and I let her watch, and then she's not watching it.
Guys, share please, okay?
Okay.
Is that okay?
Yeah.
Okay. Go. We're almost done.
What's the door?